What's with all the police everywhere? I'm not supposed to tell. You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around chopping people up? The feds heard that he's gonna be here today. So they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap.
This movie was so much fun.
Thank you.
You look like you had such a great time. I can't wait to see it again in a packed theater because I saw it with about 10 people. That's not the way you want to see Trap.
No, that's the best. I get to see it for the first time with a big audience on Wednesday, and I'm so excited because I only saw it on my own in a theater, and it was like, oh, this is kind of the movie you need to be like holding on to somebody and kind of, oh my god, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So Josh, tell me your first reaction when Knight gave you the script for Trap. How'd you react?
Well, he didn't tell me what the movie was about. When we first spoke, he just said, I've got something I want you to read. And he sent it to me afterward, and I read the script and I was like, oh my God, this is so twisted. Not just that the character at the center is twisted, but like he's expecting an audience, or he wants an audience to go along. Basically, we tell them right off the bat, this guy's the worst. And then we have to we expect the audience, or try to figure out a way to make the audience go along for the ride. And in the midst of it, we kind of tell a coming of age story for this serial killer. He figures out a little bit of, he has a little bit of humanity. Knight is like the warmest guy you'll ever meet, but he has a very twisted, storytelling sensibility. And yeah, so I read it and I was like, first off, this is gonna be a huge challenge, and I love a huge challenge. I always want, if there's a big opportunity to be surprising, but also an opportunity to fall on my face, I will take that chance at being surprising every time. And if I do fall on my face, so what? I swung for the fences. So this is like the ultimate version of that for me. Like and it was just so much fun to make because Knight's Knight, and he has a very clear idea of what he wants to do, and he allows you the space to create character, and he always gets great performances out of his actors. So it was just a lot of fun.
You look like you had such a good time playing Cooper. Are villains more fun to play?
They kind of are, because they're outside of your daily experience. So we're in a lot of dramas, mostly in dramas. Comedies are a lot of fun too, but comedies are nerve-wracking because if it's not funny, it's not funny, and you can feel that on the moment, on the day, and then if you're stuck in it, you're screwed, right? Like, it's the worst. So as far as villains go, you're allowed to exercise a lot of sort of creative and performing muscles that you're not able to access when you're doing, straight drama or comedy. So I think that's why actors find it so much fun. And I had, as you said, I looked like I had a great time, and I did have a great time. There was some of the research that was pretty dark, but beyond that, it was fun to expand this character and make it as wild as possible.
Wait, so what kind of research did he have you doing?
He didn't have me, I did it, because I was like, if I'm gonna take this on, I wanna make sure that the character is consistent, is like you believe that like the layers of masks that he has in order to maintain his secrecy in his life feel consistent with who he ends up being at the end. And I didn't want to cheat the audience, so I did a ton of research on psychopathy and sociopaths, and read a few books about interviews with serial killers, and just kind of tried to get into the headspace of someone who does not care and almost needs that feeling of being really close to the fire, like almost being caught, in order to feel like alive. And I felt like that's the exciting little thing that kind of like separates him from everyone else in this situation. The closer he gets to being caught, the kind of more exciting it gets, and the more he gets to let himself out of the, from behind the curtain, the more excited he gets. And it was fun.
I read a description earlier this year where Knight described the movie as what if Silence of the Lambs took place at a Taylor Swift concert, but I also didn't realize that the movie itself, Trap, is inspired by a real life thing that happened in the 80s. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, it's a similar thing in the function of what the police were doing, but it wasn't for a serial killer. It was people who had committed felonies that they couldn't find. They sent out these messages to people somehow. I don't know where, because if they couldn't find them, I don't know how they got addresses or were able to find. I think they were just evading the law wells. They were sending out these, basically, you've won a lottery to win tickets to this football game. It was a Redskins game in Washington. And if you come to this convention center, we're going to give them to you, and you'll have a chance. You'll enter a lottery to win tickets to the Super Bowl. And so, of course, all these felons came out of the woodwork thinking, oh my God, this is the luckiest day of my life. And there were cops dressed as like cheerleaders and cops dressed as like mascots, and they just arrested everybody. It's horrible, but it's funny. I mean, it is a funny scenario.
How you all doing? You having fun? Woo! Come closer.
What's going on, Daddy?
Open the goddamn door!
I can't get away. I can't stop. I'll just do this one last one.
Enjoy the rest of the concert.